This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Saint and woman dies in fiery motor vehicle crash. A 38-year-old Saint and woman died in a fiery three-vehicle collision near Pear Tree Bottom, Runaway Bay in the parish this morning. The deceased has been identified as Anastasia Edwards of Hampton Heights, Runaway Bay. The police say the crash involved a tractor-trailer, Edwards' Honda CR-V, and a panel truck. The tractor-trailer and the Honda CR-V were traveling towards Discovery Bay, while the panel truck was traveling in the opposite direction. It is reported that the panel truck veered into the path of the tractor-trailer, hitting its wheel. The driver of the panel truck then lost the control of the vehicle and crashed into Edwards' Honda CR-V, which was traveling behind the trailer. Both vehicles then burst into flames. Edwards' charred remains were removed after the fire brigade extinguished the flames. COVID-19 declines in correctional facilities. The Department of Correctional Services is reporting a reduction in COVID-19 cases in correctional facilities. As at Friday, there were 3 active cases among inmates. Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security, Xavier Main, who toured the Tower Street Correctional Facility and the South Camp Juvenile Remand and Correctional Center on Friday, said he was awaiting word on when non-contact visits will resume at adult correctional facilities. Non-contact visits resumed on a phased basis at juvenile institutions on March 2. This followed advice from the medical team based on a significant decline in COVID cases. Joint Anti-Gang Task Force nabs another wanted man. Another wanted man has been nabbed by the recently created Joint Anti-Gang Task Force. He has been identified as Akeem Pinnock. He was arrested during an operation in West Kingston on Tuesday. The police say Mr. Pinnock was wanted for a double murder committed on February 9 and a shooting on December 27, 2021. PNP backs Bunting. The People's National Party is standing behind the former National Security Minister, Peter Bunting, who was flagged in the Integrity Commission report on the issuing of gun licenses by the Firearm Licensing Authority. The party issued a news release Saturday afternoon in which it noted that Mr. Bunting had released a detailed statement outlining the facts of the 2 cases highlighted by the Commission. The PNP said the details reinforced its view that the decisions were made in the proper exercise of Mr. Bunting's ministerial authority, considering the facts before him and the recommendations of the review panel. The party stated that nothing that has come to light suggests that the decisions were flawed or improper. Bunting, who served 3 terms as Member of Parliament for Manchester Central for 3 consecutive terms before losing his seat in the last general election, was subsequently appointed to the Senate, where he currently serves as the leader of opposition business. In the wake of the resignation of Robert Montague, another former Minister of National Security from the current Holness administration, more attention is being brought to bear on Bunting's leadership role in the Senate. Mr. Montague, who served as the Minister of National Security early in the last term of the Holness administration, resigned on Friday from his last post as Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. His resignation came just hours after the Jamaica Accountability Portal called for public officials linked to the questionable granting of firearm licenses to be relieved of their duties until further investigation of the issues is completed. Mr. Bunting, in a statement on Thursday, responded to the highlighting in the media of 2 particular cases from the Integrity Commission's special report pertaining to the FLA. The first of these cases, he said, involved a person who had been charged 10 years earlier with cocaine-related offenses while he was a student in the American state of Florida. He said relevant records had subsequently been expunged. In that regard, he noted that when a criminal is expunged, the law requests that that person must be treated as if the crime had not occurred, adding that none of the expectations to that rule applied in this particular case. He said the second case involved a person who had been accused of a sexual offense, but in which case no formal report was ever made. That person also had 2 charges of assault on his record from the 1990, but according to Mr. Bunting, one of those cases was dismissed by the court and no order was made by the judge in the other case. Therefore, he said this person had never been convicted of a crime. The former National Security Minister Firearm Review Board recommended that a license be granted or restored, and therefore, as minister, I acted either in accordance with their recommendations or more conservatively. Vendor among 2 killed in Manchester attacks. The Manchester police have confirmed the killing of 2 men in separate incidents in the parish over the weekend. The victims have been identified as Orlando Cummings, 34, a higgler of Crosskeys in the parish, and a man known as O'Neill of a Greenville address. According to reports, approximately 10 p.m. on Saturday, Cummings had just returned home from the Coronation Market in Kingston. The police say he was approached by 2 men who demanded money and ordered him into his house. Cummings tried to escape but was chased by the gunmen, who fired several shots hitting him. He was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. In the other incident, residents in Greenville reported hearing shots about 1 o'clock this morning. The body of a male was later discovered at 7 a.m. with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. 2 teens listed among 3 persons of interest in St. Andrew South. 2 teens are among 3 persons of interest listed by the St. Andrew South Police in relation to several crimes in the division. The St. Andrew South Police Criminal Investigations Branch wants them all to report to the Hunts Bay CIB before noon on Monday, March 14. They are Paul Davis, 17, otherwise called Palos, of Fiddles Road and Alexander Road, Whitfield Town. Damani Davis, 19, otherwise called Damage, of Alexander Road, Whitfield Town. Tamani Williams, 23, otherwise called Chucky Boy, of Glen Road and Forester Road, Whitfield Town. Detectives believe that these persons may be of assistance to ongoing investigations for various crimes committed in the division. Dennis Meadows resigns from state boards. Former Deputy Chairman of the Firearm Licensing Authority, Dennis Meadows, has resigned from all state boards as the fallout from the Integrity Commission's investigation into the issuance of questionable gun licenses intensifies. In a damning 245-page report released last week, the Commission said Meadows was referred to the Director of Corruption Prosecution for a determination on whether he should be charged for misconduct in a public office, breach of public trust, and a breach of the Corruption Prevention Act over the role he played in the granting of a license to his brother-in-law, Clint Rennie. Director of Investigations Kevin Stevenson said Meadows was part of an FLA board in 2016 that approved a firearm user application for Rennie, who was convicted in the United States of attempted possession with intent to distribute cocaine and engage in a conflict of interest. Meadows resigned from the FLA board in 2017, just over 1 year into his tenure. In a statement yesterday, Meadows hit back at the IC, claiming that the report reflects a gross misrepresentation of the facts and wittingly seeks to impugn my character and good name. He admitted that there were no written records to prove he declared his relationship, as the practice of the FLA's licensing committee was not to record minutes because of security concerns. If the Director of Investigations exercised a little more diligence in his duties, confirmation of my recusal and the declaration of my relations could have been gleaned from my former board members. My checks with my former board members revealed that they were never asked this critical question during their interviews, Meadows said. He also argued that notwithstanding the adverse traces, his brother-in-law was not deemed a restricted person under the FLA Act. Rennie was denied a gun permit in August 2015 for failing to disclose his U.S. conviction. Almost a year later, and with a change of board following the 2016 general election, Rennie's application was approved by a team including Meadows. Meadows has also taken the FLA CEO Shane Darling to task. Last month, Darling revealed the situation involving Meadows in repeating concerns of 5 years earlier about the approval of licenses to persons with a criminal history. Why a deliberate attempt was made by Mr. Darling to link my name to an alleged 200-plus files with criminal traces. Note, the report found 72 during the period 2012 to 2016, Meadows said, pointing to his 16-month presence on the board. It's noteworthy that Mr. Darling still holds the position of CEO despite his recklessness and the possible breach of the Data Protection and the Secrecy Acts and exposing the FLA to costly legal liabilities. Meadows said given the latest controversies, he was resigning with immediate effect from the boards of the Western Regional Health Authority, River Rafting Authority, and the Falmouth Hospital Management Committee. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.